Welcome to another Friday bonus video. I gotta be honest up front, I am a little bit sicko and I blew my nose too hard and I can't hear out of my right ear at all. But I just took some Dayquil and so I'm hoping that will kick in soon. Ooh, man, I haven't talked out loud yet today. This week, I actually only worked at the restaurant one night, which was incredible. I had to give up some shifts because I had a shoot, which was so much fun. So I'm feeling very like creatively well rested and like energized and motivated. So I wanted to put out some bonus videos and I did a Q&A little thing on my Instagram, which if you're not following my Instagram, you should follow it here because I often ask for input or questions or things like that, and you might be able to have a question answered. And I got a lot of questions and a lot of wedding, marriage related questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a two-parter, why not? And I'm going to this week answer kind of some of the general questions and next week answer some of the marriage questions. So two bonus videos coming out in a row, which means I've been doing Friday bonus videos in a row for like a month now. So they're not really bonus anymore. Now they're expected, but don't expect it. I've just had extra motivation lately. Before we jump into the video, I just want to give a little update. I have mentioned like on the community tab here on YouTube that I have been like a little bit, I guess, anxious lately because I've noticed my numbers have started to dip a little. Part of me thinks that's because I had to demonetize one of my own videos it was a sip and thrift just because that was what we agreed upon in the contract. They didn't want ads running through it. So part of me is telling myself that's the reason why. But I had a realization. I posted on the community tab asking like, what type of bonus video do you want? I want to put out more content. And a lot of you had great ideas, so thank you for that. But I actually, a lot of people went through and told me why they are tired of my videos, which is totally fine. Constructive criticism is great. But this is a character flaw of mine. I take criticism pretty harshly. I want to say it's because I'm a really hard worker and always want to do my best, but if I'm being honest with myself, I think it just boils down to me wanting to be liked by people. And I've come to the realization that this is cheesy. You could be the best cup of coffee in the world. Some people just don't like coffee, and that is okay. There's nothing you can do about that. So who knows if I will still quit my job by Christmas. I'm going to change my mentality a little bit here. I think I was making this, I'm a go-getter and I'm a goal setter, and I think I was setting my goals pretty aggressively, which is totally great, but I'm gonna go back to not trying to make this full-time. Hopefully it does become full-time here in a minute or two, but I'm not going to put all of my efforts into it and obsess over it and check my analytics every hour. I'm just gonna go back to making things I like. If you like the things I like, awesome, cool. I'm glad that we can like the same things. If you don't like the things I like, that's fine. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch it. So that's where I am right now. Thank you for constructive criticism. Things that I felt were a little too harsh maybe, I like deleted just because that's what I have to do for my own sake, for my own mental health, for my own motivation, and no harm, no foul. I don't want to keep going on about this, but for example, a lot of people were like, we love thrifting videos, give us more thrifting videos, but then a lot of people were like, you have too many thrifting videos. So I'm just gonna make what I enjoy. Okay, with all of that, let's go ahead and jump into the questions here on Instagram. I haven't even picked out any yet. They're just all here on Instagram right now. So I'm just gonna go through and see which ones jump out that are, you know, general. And then I will go ahead and film the part 2, which is all marriage. What do you miss most about home in Texas? Obviously, friends and family. That is pretty much the only thing I really miss. Sometimes I miss the simplicity of Texas. LA can be a lot of like hustle and bustle and like grinding and all of that, and in Texas I feel like people are just a little bit more content, which is totally a generalization and not true for any individual, but just kind of the vibe I felt. I do miss that, but the main thing I miss from Texas is friends and family, and if I ever move back, that would be the reason why, slash not being able to afford a baby in LA. But I'm hoping to live in LA forever, but I would love to have more time with my family and have more time with my childhood friends too. Where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years? Hi, Samantha. In 5 years. In 5 years, I don't see myself having kids yet. I would really, this is a stretch, I would really like to be a homeowner in 5 years, even just like a little townhome. I would love to live in one of those, and hopefully in 5 years I'm doing freelance things full time. Those are the main changes I see. Otherwise, I see myself still living in Pasadena. I love Pasadena. I want to live here forever. It's really grown on me. Still going to Mosaic, just kind of doing this more full time, and hopefully a homeowner. That's a big goal of mine, and I don't know how obtainable it is. Where do you get the quick workouts you do from? Blog Lottie's is where I do most of my quick workouts. She does a lot of apartment friendly workouts. Now I have someone that lives above me and below me, so I have to be very conscientious of the noise I make, and she does like high cardio workouts that have no jumping, things like that, so I love her. Someone else said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's funny. What has God been teaching you recently? Ooh, okay. This is kind of how I opened up the video a little bit, but I think that recently I've learned that I can't please everyone. I can't please everyone. So I'm learning to grow in like my self-love and my self-confidence, and being okay with the fact that some people just won't like me. Even if I'm like the nicest, sweetest, most hardworking person in the world, some people just won't like me. And so I feel like God has been teaching me to find my self-worth on my own, and plug into my community and spend more time with Brook and appreciate the things I do have instead of trying to win over everyone, because it's just impossible and it's a battle I'm gonna lose, and it's not worth my stress. So that's one thing I've been reflecting a lot on and praying a lot about lately, is just loving myself and being okay with where I am, and deleting mean comments, and maybe even not reading comments sometimes, because why obsess over it, you know? What is the hardest thing about pursuing acting? Ooh, this is a good question. The hardest thing is it's so out of your control in like every way, shape, and form. You don't know what auditions you're gonna have until sometimes when you wake up in the morning, they might say, hey, can you be here in like a few hours? And you're expected to be there. Usually, I mean, you have a day or two notice, but it's still a day or two notice. So that's completely out of your control. You could be like the most qualified, best actor in the room, but they could decide to just go with a different age or a different ethnicity, or like something completely out of your control in that regard. Or you could finally book a role and it will get cut in pre-production, or after post-production, it won't actually get shown anywhere, so you won't get your buyout. Like, so many things are out of your control that it can be really easy to get discouraged. So just like I'm realizing with YouTube, with acting, you have to just enjoy the process. You have to just find every audition fun and not really do it for the end goal, but do it for the process if you want to have longevity in this career. It's funny, I have a lot of like acting related questions. I actually did a whole video about what it's like to be an actor in LA over a year ago, quite a while ago, but I kind of go through the whole process. Someone's asking about self-tape, someone's asking about what auditions are like, and I go through all of that. So I can link that down below. It's an old video, quality might not be like the best, but all the information's still the same. What do you like to do to relax during a busy work week? I'm trying to find comfort and stillness. I'm a busybody, so what I realistically like to do to relax is while I'm doing something mindless that I still have to get done, like folding laundry or whatever, I will watch something I enjoy, like Shark Tank, which I also enjoy that because I'm learning. But I feel like that's not an adequate answer because I'm still getting things done. So to relax during a work week, now that I have a patio space, I really like to just go sit out there, but I'm also usually working. I feel like just making mundane things more fun is something that brings me joy and relaxation. But as far as actually relaxing, I've been better about carving out time to work out, not for my physical appearance sake, but for the endorphins and for the positive aspect it can have on like your mental health. So that's one thing that's been nice, is me making time for that for myself instead of like all the excuses of things I have to get done to where I wouldn't do it otherwise. Oh, so many of these are wedding related, marriage related. How to stay positive when around you there is a lot of negativity. That's interesting and that's hard. Some negativity you can walk away from. Like if it's a negative person in your life, just be intentional about, it sounds bad, but I've had negative friends in my life to where I'm just like, you know what, nothing I can do can really change your outlook, so I love you, but I'm just gonna give you some space because it's not good for me either to be around that negativity. So if it's like that, it's okay to find space from people, but if it's like in a work environment or something that you can't really get away from, I think it's fine to voice your positivity. I have that issue at my work sometimes. Sometimes the morale is down and people are just complaining, and I will literally say like, hey, but being negative doesn't fix anything. So at least we're making money, or at least we'll get out of here early, or like find a positive and voice it, and people are kind of like, oh, like they snap out of it a little bit, like, oh yeah, I guess I am just kind of griping at everything. Also though, sometimes people are going through some things, so you have to feel the situation, give them space, don't correct people, but it's also fine to voice positivity, and sometimes you'll help form other people's thinking to be more positive as well. Ooh, this is a good one. Why did you go to college and decide not to use your degree? So in full transparency, I know how rare this is. I am so blessed. My parents paid for my college, which is so rare in this day and age, and like the sweetest thing ever. It's something that's important to them. They're financially in a great spot, so it was something that they wanted to do for us, which is so sweet. So I knew I wanted to get my degree because it's like, who says no to a free degree? But at the same time, I really didn't want to major in acting or anything in the arts. I personally find that I get further along in my career by learning on experience, like going to auditions, making those connections, having coffee with other people in the industry, booking things, being on set. Like, not only am I learning that way, but I'm also making those connections that will further my career. So I didn't want to major in acting. I wanted to major in something that I could kind of have in my back pocket that I could use to add another skill to my resume. So I love nutrition. It's something I've always been interested in, and having celiac disease, I really wanted to learn about my body selfishly. I like to learn about things that are applicable to my own life, and nutrition's super applicable to your life. So I figured majoring in that would not only be really interesting, but could play hand in hand down the line, and it has, like with TASTEMADE. I think if I didn't have my degree in nutrition, TASTEMADE wouldn't have ever hired me. So though I say all the time that like I don't plan on using my degree, I still use it all the time. I use it in videos and I use it in my own life, but I just don't really want to have a typical 9-to-5 nutritionist or dietitian job. Best everyday tips for keeping your home tidy and clean. This is so cliche, I'm so sorry, but honestly, what I do is every single time I wake up, go to bed, or leave the house, whatever is around, I just pick up. And whenever I notice something is exceptionally dirty, like the floors, I'll just vacuum. I don't have like a set schedule. If the countertops look dirty, I'll wipe them down real quick. If the mirror looks dirty, I'll wipe it down real quick. If you stay on top of things and every single day take like literally 45 seconds to put a couple things away, or to just clean one thing that you notice is dirty, your house will never actually get dirty, and it will stay nice and tidy and clean, and it never is like this big looming chore over your head because it's just something you're always keeping up with. That's what I do. When do you want children? I've talked about this in the past. I don't know when I'll actually have children. I always say I can't speak for my future self, but as of now, I feel like I'm 22. I would like to have 2 kids between the ages of like 28, 29, and 31. So like 6-7 years sounds ideal for me to start having kids, but I don't know where life will take me. I don't know how my opinions will change in a year, so I can never really speak for my future self. But current self thinks like 6-7 years is a good time to start having kids. We do want a dog though. I think we might look into getting a dog after Christmas. Do you ever get imposter syndrome? YouTube, acting, life. How do you work through that? I gotta be honest, I've never really heard of imposter syndrome. Is that where you like think? I'm gonna Google this. It can be defined as the collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evident success. Imposters suffer from chronic self-doubt and a sense of intellectual fraudulence that override any feelings of success or external proof of their competence. Ooh, very interesting. In the acting world, I've kind of gotten over it. I have signed with my first agent like 13-14 years ago now, and I never feel like I'm as good as anyone else, but then I realize that everyone else feels the same way too. So I've just kind of been like, whatever, we're all figuring it out. Everybody has side hustles. Like, everybody I've ever worked with has side hustles. So I've kind of gotten over that in the acting sense. The YouTube social media sense, I get super discouraged sometimes living in LA and having such successful friends. The numbers are so evident to outside people on like social media. Like my Instagram only has 12,000 followers, which to me seems like nothing because I have friends with literally millions of followers on Instagram, and here I am doing like hashtag sponsored, and I feel really dumb about it sometimes. But I just have to take a step back and realize like this is my journey, and it's cool if people want to sponsor me even though I don't have a huge following. Like, that's awesome. So taking a step back away from it and like just owning it, and I actually posted about this on Instagram lately. I was like, I'm just gonna claim that even though I don't feel worthy of something, I can still do it and I can still succeed at it. So here's like grabbing your goals and all of that. And so that's something I've been trying to live by lately. Tips for body positivity even on your worst mental health days. I did a video about this as well. I've just speaking from personal experience here. For me, how I treat my body is how I see my body, not actually how my body looks. So if I even just like carve out 10 minutes to stretch, I will be like, wow, like my body's so cool. It could do so many things and I did something for it today, so I'll start to see it in a better light. So just carving out a little time to love your body, whether that be go on a walk or a stretch or even just like do a face mask or just be nice to your body, I think for me really helps with the way I then see it and my body positivity. Ooh, okay, this is good. We all know about your jobs, but what about Brook? What does he do? So Brook has 2 jobs. He has a 9 to 5 and then I call it like a 5 to 9. We're both pretty busy people. So his 9 to 5 is he is technically assistant general manager at a flooring distribution company. It's cool. He started at this company when he was 17 or 18. So he's been there for like 8 years or something crazy like that. He started as a janitor and then he worked his way into working in the warehouse and then he worked his way to warehouse manager. And then he worked his way to logistics manager and now he's assistant GM and he still does logistics management. He also does customer service management. So he kind of manages like the whole front of the house of his job. And then he has his 5 to 9, which there's a company called Dodgers Nation. They're like a Dodgers press website. He is senior editor for them. And then he also does a podcast for them called Blue Heaven Podcast, which is like a live stream and a podcast. So he technically has his Dodgers crest credentials and can like go sit in the press box at games and does articles and that whole thing. So those are his 2 jobs. Obviously his Dodgers job is much more of a passion than his management job. So one day he would love for that to be more full-time. The money comes from his management job for sure. Was acting always your dream? Yeah. For pretty much as long as I can remember. When did I start saying I wanted to become an actor? I signed up with my first agent when I was 9, so it was definitely before that. Elementary school, I started doing community theater, like outside of just like school theater, so like actual shows with adults. And when I saw that adults were acting, even though it was like not paid, I was like, wow, this is something I could do forever. And I thought it was so much fun. So it's just something that I've always been good at, which sounds bad. I mean, people like things that they're just naturally good at. So something I've always been good at, and because of that, I always was excited to do it. So here I am, many a years later, still grinding. Do you dye your hair? I got highlights for my wedding. They're about this grown out now. Let's just do a couple more like rapid fire because this video is getting very long. Is the new apartment worth the cost? Yes. For LA, I'm just gonna tell you what it is. It's so expensive. It's $2,400 a month. It's very expensive and it's painful when I know how much my friends are paying in Texas, but for LA, it's average, so it is definitely worth it. And I asked Brook this the other day. I was like, now that we have lived here for a few weeks and now that we've paid rent, like, are you happy we made this decision? He was like, yeah, we needed the extra space and the extra amenities. How did you know you had celiac disease? I didn't know I had celiac disease. It was a long time of going to a ton of different doctors, and I got so sick at the end of high school. I constantly had like a 103-degree fever. I was rapidly losing weight. I had some internal bleeding. Like it got really, really bad. So they kind of rushed me in for a semi-emergency colonoscopy and endoscopy, and they did a biopsy of my whole digestive tract, particularly my small intestine, and that's when I saw there was almost like no villi left, which I could do a whole video on that later. And they were like, oh wow, I think you have celiac disease. And I didn't even want to believe it because I was like, I don't know, like no one has been able to answer this for so long, that I sent my test results and my biopsies and all the photographs and everything to Celiac Disease Foundation, and Celiac Disease Foundation confirmed it for sure. Also sent me a really nice, I'm sorry, gift basket full of gluten-free snacks, and that was how I officially got diagnosed. What is your favorite type of video to shoot? I really like videos like this where I can just like sit down and chat with y'all, and like I get to know you better through this or through the comments, and you get to know me better. I feel like it's just really actually hanging out with a friend. They're also really easy to shoot and edit, so it's a lot more time on just being genuine and honest and a lot less time than like the behind the scenes work. So this is something I really enjoyed doing, but I don't really make videos I don't enjoy. That's something I'm big on. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I focused a lot on my success and like wanting to do well, but never have I done anything that I didn't want to do. I mentioned in a Sip and Thrift, it hasn't come out yet, but I said this in a different video that will come out soon about like Halloween videos. Like everybody wants Halloween videos and I know they would do so well, but I really don't like Halloween. I'm just not about it, so I just haven't. So I never make videos I don't like. I only make things I'm passionate about and I'm excited about, and I hope that that reads through the camera, that you then see that I'm really actually enjoying every second of this and not doing anything I have to do. Oh, let's end with a good one. Do you have a hidden talent? I have a really gross talent. Do you want to see? This is, my mom's gonna kill me if she's watching this. Ready? My fingers are interlocked. I have disgustingly flexible joints, and they dislocate all the time. I've even dislocated my shoulder in my sleep. So that's a fun trick, because I can technically jump rope my arms if I wanted to. That's a weird enough thing to end off on. I'll go ahead and end the general Q&A here. I love you so much. Thank you for always letting me be open and honest and like willing to hang out with me, and for the support. I honestly get so overwhelmed with the support from all of you guys, and it means so much. And I know that like I get 100 really nice supportive comments for every one like critical comment, and I focus on those one critical comments, and I'm trying not to do that as much. So to the 100 of you that send nice comments for every one critical one, I love you so much. I really appreciate you. You make this worth it, and you're what motivates me to keep going, and I don't know, you just make me happy, and I love you. Okay, stay tuned. Next Friday, I'm just now about to go through and answer, there's so many marriage questions, so there's gonna be a marriage one coming very soon. I love you so much. Have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye.